Gringo Go Home in Puerto Rico got nothing to do with race, right? Let's talk some facts. Yeah, the word gringo's been around since the 1700s, but on the island, when you hear Gringo Go Home, it hits different. It's not about race or skin color. It's about Act 60, gentrification, the displacement of Boricuas, while outsiders cash in on land, tax breaks, and opportunities that the locals don't have access to. I mean, really, it's a protest, a pushback against the system that's been exploiting Puerto Rico since it was handed from Spain to the U.S. Puerto Rico's still one of the last colonies in the world stuck in this economic chokehold while outsiders flip paradise for profit. And no, that phrase Gringo Go Home does not come from the Mexican-American War. That's a myth. Really, sometimes locals even use it as a joke for Puerto Ricans like me who look and sound like a kid from the States with broken Spanish. Today, you'll see it sprayed on the walls, Gringo Go Home or Yankee Go Home, not a protection for what's theirs. If you're coming to help, respect, and connect, cool. But if you're coming to exploit or displace whatever race you are, Gringo Go Home. Facts is facts.
If you live in Puerto Rico or you're thinking about visiting or moving here, you probably heard the phrase Gringo Go Home. You've at least seen it online or you've seen people arguing about it. And honestly, you might even seen one of our clips about it. The way people use Gringo Go Home today, a lot of folks don't actually know what it means. They think it's about hating Americans or kicking out tourists, when the original phrase was never about individuals. It was about systems, anti-colonialism, anti-imperialism, fighting the structures that harm Puerto Rico. And when you lose that nuance, the whole movement gets twisted. People start acting and attacking anyone and everything, even people who aren't causing the harm. And here's my little conspiracy theory, because we all know what we all love a little good conspiracy theory. And based on what happened to us after we got doxxed and people start lumping us into with the very behavior we don't engage in, I started to think maybe that twisting isn't an accident. What if somebody benefits from derailing the meaning of Gringo Go Home? What if the goal is to make the movement look xenophobic instead of anti-imperialist? Because if you turn the locals against people who actually respect the island, then the only ones left coming here are the ones who don't care about Puerto Rico. And who does that ultimately serve, right? And this is my theory. I'm not saying it's fact, but the pattern is kind of sketchy. And I want to unpack all of that today, step by step. Hi, my name is Jade, and welcome to Get in the Black, where we explore life, business, and culture our way from Puerto Rico to the world. Kinfolk, and you know what to do. You better hit that like button like it owes you money and leave a comment so I know you're awake. And for all of those who haven't done it yet, because I've been looking at my analytics and a lot of y'all are watching, I need for you to subscribe. Because don't be a hater watching for free. You need to support our cause here. We're trying to reach 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And you know what? The time is closing in. We are already in the month of December. I need y'all to subscribe. With that being said, let's get into this video. So let's break it down this way. Gringo Go Home isn't about hating tourists. I want to make that clear. It's not about hating Americans. It's not even about individual people at all. It's about systems, about anti-imperialism and It's about anti-colonialism. It's about pushing against the structures that have harmed Puerto Rico for generations. When people say it, they're usually talking about disrespectful tourism, people who move here and treat the island like a playground, people who exploit tax laws while giving nothing back, investors who buy up whole neighborhoods and push out local families, the people who disrespect culture, language, and community. That's the spirit behind the phrase. But here's where things go left. And in any movement, I want to make it clear, it's not just Gringo Go Home. There are people who become angry, and it's rightfully angry. If all these things are happening to you, you're going to be mad too. But then some start to lose sight of the mission. And when you lose that nuance, you start attacking individual people instead of the systems causing the harm. And when that happens, the movement stops being about justice and starts being about rage. And I know that firsthand. If you saw our story time about how we got doxxed, you already know the situation was super messy. But what I didn't fully explain in that video is the conspiracy theory I have about who was really behind it. Because the more I look at it, the more it felt strategic. Like somebody was deliberately trying to twist the meaning of Gringo Go Home and weaponize it against people who actually aren't causing Puerto Rico harm at all. And that's the short version of my theory. You could say it's a scheme that Todd cooked up.
Could have been a scheme that Todd set up for him to come to you with the bush.
But I don't think those people misunderstood that movement by accident. Like, for real. I think there are people who the government have placed within the Gringo Go Home community to make people look extremist and crazy so that you discount them and what they're doing, so that the broader context of society doesn't want to listen to their grievances. But you know what? We're not about to do this here, because I almost fell into that. Because after you get doxxed, you start getting a little jaded. And I had to correct myself and reground myself. Because you got to think about it. If these people were placed intentionally to derail it, it can make the phrase look xenophobic, right? Instead of anti-colonial. And the thing is, it can scare off people who want to be respectful, kind of like myself. You can make people like myself who want to uplift the culture not want to be here. So let me be transparent about us, right? Because people love to make assumptions. Yes, we live here. Yes, we own a property. And yes, we rent out our extra space, the same way thousands of local families do. This is not a real estate empire. We're not trying to be moguls. We don't have 10 Airbnbs, 20 Airbnbs, none of that. And yeah, we are Act 60, not because we moved here to hide money, not so we could buy up land for the cheap. We actually started a real business here, and we participate in the community. We hire people, we do our paperwork, we spend our money here. We didn't come here to extract, we come here to build. We are the people who Act 60 is really supposed to be for us, because if you think about it on paper, it actually is a great thing for Puerto Rico. The issue becomes is when people exploit these kind of laws. It's not the laws itself, it's the exploitation that becomes the issue. People tell us all the time, yo, expand, buy more businesses, go big. But that's not our aspirations. We have no aspirations to be these large real estate moguls. That is just not something we want to do. We're not here trying to reshape Puerto Rico. We're just living in Puerto Rico. Now, here's the part people really need to hear. Puerto Rican culture survives because people keep it alive. People, community, and human beings. And culture evolves safely with respect. We don't have to be born here in order to honor it. I mean, look at Bomba. Bomba is rooted in the history of enslaved Africans in Puerto Rico, right? But today, it's kept alive by everyone, not just Afro-Puerto Ricans. We got all different kinds of Puerto Ricans, from Taino roots, Criollo, Spaniards, all of them. They all respect and treated with respect. And I would even say that people like myself, who are not from Puerto Rico, not even Puerto Rican, help to keep Bomba alive by teaching people what it is and keeping it rooted in its history. Because culture isn't owned, it's carried. And it's carried by people who respect it. So when we talk about Gringo Go Home, let's talk about who is actually supposed to be. A call out to systems of disrespect, exploitation, and colonial behavior, not an excuse to attack random individuals who aren't doing any of that. So if you want the full story of how we ended up getting doxxed, I'm going to include that video at the end of this one. So make sure you stay so you can click on that video. But for now, I hope this helps you understand that Gringo Go Home isn't as simple as it sounds. And when you lose the nuance, you lose the point of what people are advocating for. And with that being said, stay beautiful, stay blessed, and stay black. This is Jade, and you're watching Get Into the Black. Bye-bye.